Dr. Cathy Newell-Jones from the Feed the Mind organization, who are helping to reduce all forms of violence against women through basic and legal literacy. Dr. Cathy.
Good evening. My name is Cathy Newell-Jones from Feed the Mind. The project I'm presenting this afternoon is in Ghana and aims to reduce gender-based violence in a rural area of Ghana where domestic violence in particular has been identified as a key area for women, inhibiting women for their development. A recent WHO survey that covered 24,000 women across 10 countries actually identified that gender-based violence is responsible for a higher number of the deaths and serious casualties than cancer, malaria or car crimes, a serious issue. So Judy, tell us a little about Ghana and the issue of gender-based violence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katie. Thank you everyone who's gathered here to listen to us. Ghana is indeed a vibrant country filled with colorful demonstration of culture and should be a beautiful place to visit. However, there's a problem in Ghana because the very culture that is so celebrated sometimes does not always favor women. Let's focus on the Volta region, which is a rural part of Ghana where you have a population of 1.6 million people, 70% of whom are found in the rural areas. Amongst these groups, which is our focus for tonight, 1 out of 3 women report having violated at the hands of their community. This is the face of gender-based violence in Volta region, Ghana. What makes it even worse is that most of these women suffer in silence, never being able to open up and share what is going on, making it very different from the kind of violence we see in the developed world, where women have access to help and where women can talk about what they are going through. Ghana has recently enacted the Ghana Domestic Violence Act 2007, and though this is a good first step for Africa, unfortunately, the Ghanaian woman in Volta region is also mostly illiterate, and due to the strong patriarchal nature of the culture, cannot voice what she's going through. What happens in this situation, therefore, is that negative statistics acquire a human face in terms of the death of the women, the suffering of the children of these women. A vicious cycle is then created. Now, Katie, you've heard about the Ghanaian situation, which is quite serious. What does your project at Feed the Minds hope to improve the situation for the Ghanaian woman?
Okay, our project, Feed the Minds, is working in partnership with a small community-based organisation already established. They're working on the ground. They've identified the gender-based violence as an issue in their community. We've assessed them. We're supporting them in capacity building. They're going to be gathering together women's groups. The women's groups are going to map their communities, identify where gender-based violence is working, and devise methods of moving forward, of combating gender-based violence. They're going to use role play, drama, theatre, literacy groups, storytelling. They're going to work together and move forward. There's also going to be workshops for men and boys. They're an important part of the solution. But the most important part about this project is that it's grassroots based. It's led by a community organisation. It's led by women's groups. And it's going to spread across 2 villages to start with. And we're looking for something in the region of £8,000 for a 1-year project. There'll also be cascading. To start with, we'll have 150 women in literacy classes and gender-based violence classes. This will
Okay,
cascade.
Katie, if I may interrupt you, what difference will this project really make on the ground?
It'll cascade. 5,000 women. I'll just get that bit in there now. Impact. Okay, what's going to happen? We're looking for attitudinal change. Okay? People need to know about their rights. They're going to know about the Act, and they're going to know that gender-based violence is wrong, that there are other options. Women and men and boys are going to develop skills. Women are going to know how to say no. They're going to know how to avoid situations. They're going to know how to support each other. There are going to be self-help groups. There are going to be peer educators. It's not just the project. It's going to move out into the community through this cascading out to these 5,000 women that are going to be working on this. We're going to be working through community leaders, church leaders, social leaders, and also the authority. We want the authority to take gender-based violence seriously when it's reported. And finally, we're going to have women survivors who up until now have been isolated and they've suffered domestic violence in silence. We want them to survive that domestic violence and to come out and testify. Testify to other women that there are other ways of dealing with it. Testify to men and boys that also relationships can be different and that women can play a stronger part in their community. So that's the project. Now, okay, over to Judy.
Thank you very much, Katie. Thank you so much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We know you wouldn't be seated here if you were not committed to social justice, and we don't take this for granted. We appreciate you for that. I'd like to say that I'm standing here because I am a local partner from an organization in Kenya which Feed the Minds has been funding in a peace education project in the Kibera slums. So I do know that for sure Feed the Minds does make a world of difference. Otherwise I wouldn't be talking to you. Feed the Minds comes into a community, they form relationships, and they truly empower communities on the ground. I'd like to appeal to all of you to take the Ghanaian question seriously and to let the Ghanaian woman also know that it's Christmas time. And before I end, I'd like to share a certain African proverb with you, which says that where there is, do not just follow the path, but go somewhere where there is no path and make a trail. I'd like to say it in Kiswahili because I'm more comfortable sometimes. Usifuate njia ambayo unaipata, enda mahali ambapo hakuna njia na ufuate hiyo njia. That's just the same thing in Kiswahili. Thank you so much. God bless you and Merry Christmas.